Hey everybody, it's good to see you. It's a nice Saturday afternoon, kind of percolating out in the shop. It was Amazon delivery day, so I noticed that they had one of these things for sale. $13 Canadian, maybe it was $10 Canadian, can't quite remember. It's where they've now started selling the little tough cases. This one's a DWAST case, BLK, where there's nothing in it. So it doesn't come with bits for drivers or anything like that. And I found these cases somewhat useful, and there's some pros and cons to them. But I thought I'd just show you this and then give you a little overview of some of the cases I've found. I have a problem with the black and yellow stuff, and if there's something on sale, stupid things happen. But we have the different sizes, even the little mini ones. And I'm just going to go through them, how they stack up, how they work, and hopefully give you a better idea of what these cases are, how useful they are, and maybe they'll fit in with your workflow, maybe not. Let me just give me a minute. I'm going to get this thing open and we'll just have a look at it. Okay, it's pretty plain. On all these tough cases, you have the little latch that holds it all together. These latches are also what keeps them connected from one to the other. There's nothing in there. So I've had a lot of questions when I've done some reviews on these things. Where do you get the inserts? And the biggest answer is you get them from other cases. DeWalt doesn't sell the inserts by themselves yet. I don't know if they have plans to or not. It would be nice if they did, but if you have a 3D printer or know somebody who has a 3D printer, or you're good to go ahead with it, you can order these things printed online. So you know, on the back it's got the tough case logo with the stacking sort of hint there. So pretty plain. What are they good for? Well, there's a couple things that I've found is when I've found bit and driver sets on sale and I don't need the bits and drivers, I sometimes just get the case, keep the little connectors, the little plastic parts for holding stuff in, and then give away or sell the rest, or just throw it in a bucket. I'll show you my bucket in a minute. I ordered 2 of these. Again, I ordered 2 of everything. But DeWalt has been selling their stuff in these tough cases. The thing I really like about them is that the lids are clear, so you know what's inside. I had the previous generations of this. The first one didn't have this sort of dovetailed keyed system for everything, so it was really kind of a pain in the backside. Things were just rattling around. Then they came up with this sort of style, but it was a solid color on both sides, yellow, the ones I had. You never knew it was in there, so you had to write on Sharpie. These ones, it's just much easier. I know that these are my drill bits that have the 1/4 inch hex shank. So I like these for certain things when I'm just, you know, going through it. It's their black and gold or sort of type of bit. It's just a standard steel bit, nothing fancy, but good to have. Then I've seen where they have, you know, the more advanced sort of bits. I got this. I like these titanium for drilling into metal, aluminum, because aluminum is a bit sticky. It doesn't seem to stick to this as well. And it gives a good selection. So again, you're going to find these plastic pieces for organizing stuff in the kit. And then I got a cobalt one. I personally like cobalt bits a lot. These ones have the pilot point. So basically it's a split point that's smaller on the top. I think you can see that there. Let's get it close here. There we go. So you can kind of see how it's got a small drill bit point and then it widens out to the other side. They tend to stick around in material better. They do quite nicely. So those are all the things that I tend to find in these types of cases, and these are sort of the first ones to come out. Good, you know, they're nice and easy to pack into a bag or that type of thing. They stack with each other, and when you go to close them up, so if you look at here, there's a little lip here, there's a little lip on this side, and they lock together. And then when you latch this one and close it all up, it should there we go, latch everything together, and then they're not quite held together. Okay. Okay. So you have to have both sets up, so that one locks in. This one comes across. Not the easiest thing to do. And we can see how those two lips clip together. Now both of these are closed. And you can see how it even gives you instructions on some of the backs here. And they're together as a set. So you just throw this in and you don't have to worry about riding around. The only challenge is, you know, great on top, you can just open it up. To get the bottom one, then you have to kind of get your thumb in there and unlatch it. And sometimes these are pretty unwieldy. They're not the easiest ones and they usually hurt your fingers. So that's one thing I do find is that that's once you use them a few times, I guess the plastic wears down, but that's how you snap them all together. And then this one, you know, closes up. When it's like this, it's easy to open up. You got a little bit more leverage and it works better. Bit of a challenge. One of the drawbacks of this sort of system here. And if they're closed together, they don't stack so nice. So you got to flip this down for it to kind of just stack. So they stack and nestle nicely together only when the latches aren't closed. Again, bit of a flaw there. All right, we're going to get these guys out of here. Now the next one that I came across was Home Depot. Please don't ask me for any model numbers. Go to Home Depot site, Rona, if you're in the States, Lowe's. They're going to have these things. Just Google them. Please don't ask for me for the model numbers and where to get them and how much they are. Please check that yourself. This one had a whole bunch of driver bits that I really liked. The really long ones. It had a longer case, thicker lid, good sort of selection of things. This is what I really liked. But I did have some cobalt bits, and quite often, you know, if I'm going out and doing some work off-site, I like to have my you know, my screw driver bits and my drill bits and everything all together. I found this was a great little kit. It even gives you the for driving in you know, machine screws and hex topped bolts and nuts and stuff like that. So this has been a great little one. The interesting thing is that these little guys, if we look really carefully here, in the lid is molded a little lip. So again, we lock this one up, we stick it into the lip, and then when we look at this, when we go to latch this, it's going to hold the smaller one in place. So that's where we get, if you saw in the drawing, that sort of configuration. This slightly bigger one will hold the smaller ones. And you can kind of stack two. So if we look at here, you can put one on one side, one on the other. Again, get the latches up out of the way. They don't always move very well. Again, one of the little cons. This one's a bit floppy. I've used it lots. Clip it in. And now both of them are attached to that. Now to get into this case though, you have to undo both of these, take the top ones off. You can't just flip it open and have a look inside. Again, one of the design challenges. Then last year I noticed that DeWalt started selling these without stuff. Basically it's just a little parts container. They have little dividers on the inside. And these just move in and out. If you want to get creative with some Kaizen foam or something like that, you could just take all of this out and Kaizen foam the whole inside and, you know, store whatever you want in there if it would work well for some specialized tools. I like these, you know, with configurable areas. It works out really well. Again, it's the same style as the other one. You just clip these on onto that little spot right in there and then latch it right there and it works. So okay, that's kind of neat. What I've done is I've gone through a few different setups. So I had all these weird drill drivers. I had my centering drill. When you're doing hinges and stuff like that, you want to basically that's a little screw, sorry, not a screw, a drill bit that sits inside of a recess thing. And when you go into a hinge, you can push it down. The case was just a pain in the butt. It didn't fit with anything. So a little bit of Kaizen foam, a few of these extra ones I had hanging around. Also for my impact gun, and if I'm doing any ratcheting and stuff like that. Adapters for different socket sizes. So I keep this all together. Works good. The other thing I've really liked it for is for my CNC bits. So most of the bits you're going to get are going to be approximately that big. And you can set up the dividers here. There's always a few extra left over. Not a bad deal. But I can keep all of my CNC bits organized. These are all my V-bits, everything from like 90 degrees up to, I think, 20 degrees, I think I have. So that's a nice way of keeping these things organized. They fit in drawers, all good. For the CNC table, I have my T-nuts and screws to hold down projects in that, and great way to organize those things. The other thing that I've always had trouble is these sort of oscillating tool bits. Not a great way to store them, so I just threw them in one of these. Someday I'll come up with a better solution. And then I have a whole sort of mess of collars for drill bits, and I had a few nicer of these big sort of spade paddle sort of rough bits that I wanted to keep separate from the others. So it works out okay in here. These particular little guys down here, I don't really like them as much because you have to slide the bits in. So if you can have a look really carefully here, they come out really nice, but to get them back in, you kind of have to push them in until that hex lines up, and then it works okay. But when you're taking them out, they just come out. If you look really carefully right there, they pop out easy. Not so great going back in. There's a different style, I'll show you that, which works a lot better. But anyways, we got standard colors and metric colors. So those are those ones. That works great, but there's another set, and just give me a minute, and we're going to show you the bigger kits that can actually connect with a T-Stak. Okay, so these are the bigger kits that I first saw at, it was a Rona, Lowe's to you in the States. And basically, I saw this and went, well, that's pretty cool. What does it do? Well, interestingly enough, it allows you to connect this and these types. So if we look at the sides here, it's got these lips right here, so that will lip into that. And then if we turn around at the front, it has the same types of latches that the other sort of tough cases do. So this would flip up and hold onto that tough case. Some of the tough cases are actually designed where you don't have to have this lid up, which is good. Some of them aren't. But again, not the easiest thing in the world to get undone. And that really is frustrating. Okay, give me a minute. Okay, so on these ones, sometimes I got to get a screwdriver and pop that out. So it'll take these bigger ones, but there's another little latch there where the shorter kits will lock in. If I can figure, there we go. So then again, we can lock this out, lock that out. I'm not going to do it mainly because it's just gonna need to get my screwdriver out again. So again, this would go up and lock. So you can use either the big ones or the small ones, or what you could do is put a big one on here and then two small ones. So that gives you some versatility there. When we look at it, I've set these up for some sort of specific things, mainly for specialized bits and that type of stuff. So I have a collection of standard and metric little socket drivers. So I had a few of these little extra little things left over, and it works out pretty good. I keep them angled up. That works out well. My step drill bits, my saw drill bits. These are cheap ones from Princess Auto. One's broken. And then I have another set of good cobalt drill bits here. So if I know I'm going somewhere where I'm going to have to drill or tap or that type of thing, not tapping yet. I'm trying to figure out how to get a tap set on these things. Good to go. The side dividers here, they are solid. So they are molded into the case, part of the case. They don't come out. Unlike with the big ones, where you can take the center divider out, these ones are fixed in there. Again, same one. This is more original-ish. This is the black and yellow, standard steel bits. Some of the other ones, I've got some, of the magnetic bit holders or magnetic holders for screws, that type of thing. Some of the just, other ones. A lot of these are spares. So no matter what's going on, I can usually grab a case or two and it'll cover me for most of what I need. This is another one. This was from Home Depot. So the other two are from Rona. This is from Home Depot. Again, it has a bit of a different setup. It has all of these little small bits. It has the brad point woodworking bits. Has a set of spade bits. I haven't really touched this one. I just liked it because it's yellow. But if you notice, it has these little guys. Okay, so they actually fit down inside, and you can move the slider over and you can put little tiny things in there. So if you had tiny screws or bolts or that type of thing that you need to take with you, you can get them. I have the extras out of a couple of the other guys. Again, these fit into all the standard ones. Even on these guys, it'll fit in. On this type, same thing. These will fit in there. If you want to just set up a whole series of these, that'll all work really well. Now here's the interesting thing. When we look at this unit, we saw that it had the same latches as those tough cases. So again, that will allow you, again, same thing on the top here. We have those little lips that the tough cases slide into. But this will actually fit on a T-Stak. So just give me a second and I'll show you that. Okay, so here's one of the newer T-Stak cases. It has the, I think I showed this on a previous video. It has the little storage bins that you can take in and out, some big ones, some small ones, the side ones. Standard T-Stak configuration with the holes, they all stack together. They have their latches on the front, and then they have the side latches where you would connect it to the one above. But interestingly enough, if we look at these guys, they actually have the T-Stak lip, and they latch in. So what you can do is these cases on the bottoms, they're little sort of outlines here, and they're little molded in sort of clips and reliefs and everything, all fit in with the T-Stak tops, all of them that I've come across so far. So you get it sort of centered there, you spin it over, and you're just going to see it, this will flip up into that. And this will flip up into there. So now you have this on top of this. Good design choice is that now you can open this, get into it, close it, and lock it independently. Perfect. And then you can get into your T-Stak. Open the lid, do whatever you need, grab whatever you need, close it. This is still attached, so you don't have to undo it. That's really nice. Now on top of this, what we can do, and it's going to take me half an hour to get this unlatched again, but again, we can get a bigger one. And oh, we got to get this lip out of the way here. Get that clipped up. That clipped up. So all of a sudden now we have a T-Stak, the bigger one, sort of, I guess, medium-sized case. And then we're going to grab two of these guys. So again, we're going to lock the top first. This we're going to leave loose. One on there. Sounds like Shop Dog Rex is sort of meeting up with his buddy next door. They run across the fence and everything all together and clip it onto there. So all of a sudden now we have a T-Stak with all of these together. So, you know, that kind of, I'm not sure how practical it is, but at least you can take all your stuff. It's all clipped together, so it's not going to fall off. If you want to remove just the tough case components, clip that off. Clip this side off, right there. Now your tough case is taken off of your T-Stak. End of the day, you put it all together, and you're good to go. So I think somebody thought of something. There was some engineering and some design process on all of that, but I think overall pretty cool. Now I do have my little box of extras. Excuse me, I'm going to reach across, you guys. Sorry. Get that out of the way. So as I get these kits and everything, I find all the little extra bits. And so these are from some of the older kits where they had the different ways of clipping them in. These were okay, like they just kind of clip in. They don't hold as good. We have some more of the magnetic components. I always keep these as spares. I usually lose one or two here and there. Again, we have all the different Torx bits and stuff that I don't use on a regular basis. But whenever I get a kit and I'm not using the stuff, it goes in my bucket here. Overall, I've been pretty happy with the whole setup here. You know, I think when we look at the small parts containers and kits, my black and yellow bias aside, I think these are reasonably well thought out, you know, and fairly functional. If we're looking at the ones that I like, these are them. So what it is DeWalt's designed it where it has the little clips to hold them down, but when you want to put them back in, all you do is you push the top in, or the back end in, flip it down, and it holds itself in. To get it out, pull up and out. These are way better. The smaller little ones here, same action, but it's for the small bits, and they only flop down at 45 degrees. If you look really carefully there, the bits sit on a bit of a lip, so they can't go down any flatter. So the little tiny ones, those are the ones I use for those other sort of socket drivers and stuff like that. I hope this helps a bit. I hope it makes a bit more sense of what's out there, some of these products, what they can offer, what they do for you. So far, the T-Stak and the DeWalt Tough cases are working for me. I do have, you know, a good selection of the Milwaukee kits, drawers and T-Stak drawers. I do have some of the DeWalt Tough, not the Tough cases, the Tough system, the bigger ones, kind of very similar to the Milwaukee cases. I'm not totally decided. If you want me to give a rundown of all of those, I'd be happy to. Just leave a little comment at the bottom and we'll look at that. If this helps you a little bit, maybe throw a like, a subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. Otherwise, go out in the shop, make a mess, organize it. If you have any questions generally about this stuff, I'm happy to answer them. Again, the model numbers, go on Amazon, go on Home Depot's site, go on Lowe's or Rona's site. You're going to just look for DeWalt Tough Case or DeWalt, what was the other one? The name was, oh yeah, it's the maxfit system, M-A-X-F-I-T, maxfit. It all kind of goes underneath those names. See what you like, see what you don't. I think these were 50 bucks-ish with all the bits and everything in them when they first came out. They're a bit more expensive now. Some of the other ones are between $50 to $80. You know, these smaller cases, it really depends on what's inside. If you're getting the blank cases, again, this is all in Canadian, around $12 to $15-ish. Same with the bigger cases. So, hey, have a great one, and we'll catch you on the next video.